The world wasn't just watching, it was waiting. From Washington to Warsaw, from Dubai to Tokyo, every major network had gone live. Streets emptied. Phones buzzed. Cafes stayed open late. Even the stock markets paused to breathe. Because tonight, something extraordinary was happening. A global broadcast unlike any before it. The banners on every channel read, "The World Speaks Tonight, live from London." Inside the Royal Broadcast Hall, the atmosphere felt electric, the kind of quiet hum before a thunderstorm. Cameras aligned, lights burned white-hot, translators whispered through headsets in 27 languages. And at the center of that gleaming stage sat one man, his name alone enough to shake the world. Donald J. Trump. He leaned back in his chair like a king returned to his throne, crisp navy suit, red tie, and that unmistakable confidence that made the air itself feel charged. His smile was polite but sharp, his hands folded neatly on the table. Across from him sat Alexander Reed, calm, precise, unflinching. An award-winning American journalist, once dubbed the man who never blinks. Where Trump commanded chaos, Reed thrived in stillness. His eyes told you nothing. His questions told you everything. The two men hadn't met before tonight. But the tension between them was already thick enough to feel. Producers whispered into headsets. A stage manager counted down from 10. Camera 1 tight on Reed. 2 on Trump. 3 wide. The director's voice cracked through the control room. No mistakes tonight. We're live in 194 countries. The red light blinked on. Alexander Reed adjusted his mic, leaned forward slightly, and looked directly into the lens. "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen," he began. "You're watching The World Speaks Tonight. I'm Alexander Reed, reporting live from London, where history may be written before our eyes. Joining me this evening, former U.S. President Donald J. Trump." Trump nodded, smiling. "Thank you, Alexander. It's great to be here. Everyone wanted me back on television. And, as you can see, ratings are through the roof." A ripple of polite laughter from the small live audience. Reed smiled faintly, but it wasn't amusement. It was calculation. "Mr. Trump," Reed said, his tone calm but deliberate, "tonight isn't about ratings. It's about truth. We're here to discuss the future of leadership, integrity, and trust. Are you ready for that?" Trump's grin widened. "Alexander, I was born ready. I've dealt with tougher people than you. Kings, generals, I know them all." "Then this will be simple," Reed replied, flipping a page of his notes. "Let's begin." For a moment, everything felt normal, polite exchanges, steady camera work, a respectful interview. But beneath that polished civility, something dangerous was brewing. Reed's voice remained steady as he asked his first question. "Mr. Trump, you've called yourself the most transparent leader in modern history. Yet documents leaked last month and verified by multiple agencies suggest that, during your presidency, several undisclosed financial negotiations took place between American and European corporations under what's been called the World Pact." Trump blinked once. "I've heard the rumors. Fake news. Global media nonsense." "Then you deny ever hearing of it?" Reed pressed. Trump's smile flickered, just for a second. "Alexander," he said, chuckling, "the only pacts I've made were for America's greatness. The rest, just jealous people trying to rewrite my success." Reed didn't look away. "We'll see about that." The control room exchanged quick glances. This wasn't the opening question they expected. The director muttered, "He's going in early." Trump leaned back, his tone now slightly firmer. "Let me tell you something, Alexander. The world needs strong leaders, not weak interviewers chasing headlines." Reed's lips curved into the smallest of smiles. "Then let's make this headline worth remembering." The red light above the camera burned brighter, almost like it knew what was coming. Somewhere between the confidence of power and the quiet of truth, the stage was set. Because tonight, for the first time in years, Donald Trump wasn't in control. The red light above the lens burned steady, the heartbeat of a moment the world would never forget. Inside the Royal Broadcast Hall, time itself felt suspended. Donald Trump sat with that trademark posture, half defiance, half performance. his confidence radiating even as the questions still hung in the air. The World Pact. Across from him, Alexander Reed didn't move. His stillness was its own weapon. Mr. Trump, Reed began softly, you've dismissed the World Pact as rumor. Yet, according to verified transcripts, the initiative was discussed in a private 2020 meeting between executives from North Core Energy, Delta Infrastructure, and 3 world leaders, including the United States. Your name appears in those notes. Trump laughed, loud, dismissive, almost theatrical. Alexander, you're reading gossip. I ran a government, not a gossip column. I've never even heard of Delta Infrastructure, fake companies made up by desperate journalists. Reed nodded calmly. They exist. Registered in Zurich, 2018. Their directors include 2 men you've publicly endorsed in business forums. The laughter faded. In the control room, the producers leaned forward. He's cornering him, one whispered. Trump's eyes sharpened. You're fishing, Alexander. I've dealt with reporters like you for years. You twist, you cut, you misquote. You don't report, you perform. Reed smiled faintly. Then consider this your stage. The line hit perfectly, quiet, elegant, devastating. Trump straightened his cuffs, buying time. You know, I built an empire from nothing. I brought jobs back, I rebuilt borders. Now people who've never built a lemonade stand are lecturing me about integrity. Reed didn't respond to the insult. Instead, he reached for a small folder on the desk and opened it slowly. The cameras zoomed in just enough to catch the glimpse of official seals and blacked-out names. This, he said evenly, is a classified briefing leaked 2 weeks ago by an unnamed source. It details payments routed through shell accounts to fund what's called Project Unity. Those payments began the same month your administration signed the 2020 Trade Expansion Order. Care to comment? Trump's smile vanished. Where did you get that? His voice dropped an octave. Low, controlled, dangerous. I ask the questions here, Reed said, his tone even colder. And the people watching deserve an answer. For the first time, Trump didn't respond right away. The silence between them wasn't empty. It was heavy, alive, trembling with the tension of power meeting precision. Finally, Trump leaned forward, elbows on the table. You don't understand how the world works, Alexander. Deals happen every day. People meet, talk, exchange interests. That's politics. That's leadership. Reed's voice was quiet, but it carried weight. Leadership doesn't hide behind closed doors. It stands under light. Trump chuckled again, but this time it was tighter, more defensive. You sound like one of those idealists who've never been in the real fight. I've been attacked, sued, targeted, and still I win. You want to talk light? I am the light. The people know it. Reed leaned back slightly. Then they'll see clearly, won't they? The room went still again. The audience didn't dare move. Trump tilted his head. You're walking a dangerous line, son. There's a reason most reporters don't talk to me like this twice. Reed's reply came without hesitation. That's because most reporters are afraid of losing their jobs. I'm not. The control room's director whispered, Oh, this is getting real. Trump smirked. Brave words for a man sitting in front of the most successful president in modern history. Reed didn't blink. Success without truth isn't legacy. It's theater. For a heartbeat, they just stared at each other, 2 men from the same country, speaking to 2 different worlds. Trump leaned forward, lowering his voice. You want truth? Here's one. The media doesn't want leaders, they want villains. And when they can't find one, they make one. That's what you're doing now. Reed met his gaze, calm and steady. No, Mr. Trump. I'm not making a villain. I'm revealing one. The words landed like a blade. The director whispered to his crew, Stay close on camera too. Don't cut. The next 30 seconds could make history. Trump inhaled sharply, sitting back again, his smile returning, colder this time, sharper. You've got guts, Reed. But be careful. Some truths cost careers. Reed replied, and some lies cost nations. The air froze. Everyone in that room, the crew, the translators, the millions watching, knew they were witnessing something that wasn't just news. It was confrontation on the edge of collapse. And somewhere deep in the shadows of the control booth, a silent alarm blinked. A security feed detecting an unknown transmission trying to access the live broadcast feed. But no one noticed. Not yet. Because in that moment, Donald Trump and Alexander Reed were staring each other down, and neither planned to blink first. A soft hiss filled the studio, barely audible, like the sound of static bleeding through the walls. At first, no one noticed. Not the cameraman, not the producers, not even the security officers flanking the back wall. But Alexander Reed did. His ears caught the frequency shift, the faint digital buzz of a signal that didn't belong. He didn't move his eyes from Trump. "We're still live, correct?" he asked, keeping his tone casual. The director's voice echoed faintly through his earpiece. "Affirmative. All feeds stable." Except they weren't. On the monitor in the control room, a secondary window flickered, an unauthorized data feed trying to overlay itself on the main broadcast. Someone was hacking the stream. Before the technicians could react, the image on the screens across the world glitched once, just a flicker, and then stabilized. But something had changed. Behind the two men, on the massive LED backdrop showing a map of the world, a new set of coordinates appeared for a fraction of a second before fading to black. The control room panicked. What was that? Coordinates, what did they mean? Cut the background. Cut it now. But Reed didn't flinch. He kept his eyes locked on Trump, his instinct screaming that the leak wasn't an accident. It was live evidence. Trump noticed too. He turned slightly toward the backdrop, confusion breaking through his composure. "What's going on here?" he demanded. "Is this some kind of stunt?" Reed spoke softly, dangerously calm. "No, Mr. Trump. This isn't me. Someone just joined our conversation." The world's broadcast feeds trembled for half a heartbeat, and then the main screen behind them suddenly filled with an image. A document. Dated. The headline read, "Confidential, the World Pact / Project Unity, Phase 2. The room gasped. The audience erupted. Trump's face went pale. The cameras kept rolling. The broadcast didn't stop. Every screen from New York to Nairobi was now displaying the same classified file. The director shouted, "Kill the feed!" But it was too late. The hacker, or the whistleblower, whoever it was, had taken over the global stream. Reed turned toward the screen. His heartbeat slowed, but his voice stayed level. "Mr. Trump," he said, each word sharp as glass, "I believe the world just received the answer you refused to give." Trump slammed his hand on the desk. "This is fake. You're setting me up." Reed shook his head. "I didn't do this, and you know it." On the screens, a single paragraph scrolled into focus under the seal of an international energy alliance. Phase 2 will ensure continuity of financial influence across North America and Europe through private capital agreements directed by executive authorization under the codename Liberty Vault. The signature below it was unmistakable. Trump's. The control room was chaos. Technicians shouted orders, legal counsel demanded a blackout, translators froze mid-sentence. But the feed wouldn't stop. Whoever had hijacked it was streaming from a secure, off-grid source. Reed turned back toward Trump. "You said the World Pact was fiction. But the signature looks real. Care to explain?" Trump's jaw clenched. He didn't blink. "That document's forged. You think I'd sign something like that? You think I'm stupid?" Reed held his gaze. "No, Mr. Trump. I think you're desperate." For a moment, Trump looked like he might stand up. His chair creaked. The lights above him flickered as if reacting to his pulse. "I've had enough of this," he snapped. "I came here for a fair interview, not an ambush by cyber criminals and fake news clowns." Reed leaned in. "Then why not clear your name? Denounce it under oath, right here, right now, before the world." Trump froze. The red light above the main camera blinked faster, switching between angles, capturing every twitch of his face. He exhaled through his nose. "You think I'm going to play your little game, Reed? I'm done." Reed didn't move. "You can walk off again if you want. But this time, the evidence walks with you." The control room director muttered, "God help us, this is history." Trump stood. The crowd gasped. Security guards edged forward. He looked down at Reed, eyes burning. This whole thing is a lie. Reed's voice dropped to a whisper. Then tell the truth. Trump hesitated, torn between rage and control, pride and exposure. For a man who had commanded armies of cameras all his life, this was the one frame he couldn't control. And somewhere out there, whoever had leaked the World Pact was watching him fall apart in real time. The red light blinked again. The feed didn't end, and the world waited to hear what he would say next. Sirens weren't meant to echo in a television studio, yet the sharp tone of a security alarm cut through the air like a blade. Every monitor in the control room flashed red, unauthorized feed active. Donald Trump was still standing, hand flat on the desk, the leaked document blazing behind him on the LED wall. "Turn it off," he shouted. "You hear me? Turn it off." The technicians scrambled, fingers flying over keyboards. "It's not coming from our system," one cried. "It's external, encrypted." Alexander Reed didn't move. He sat perfectly still, eyes locked on Trump, voice calm amid the chaos. "Mr. President, someone wants this truth out. You can stop shouting, but you can't stop the signal." Trump spun toward him, furious. "This is treason. Do you understand what you've done?" Reed's tone was surgical. "No, sir. I understand what you've hidden." The security team burst through the back doors, black suits, earpieces, urgency dripping from every motion. "Cut the power. Seal the feed." A technician shouted back, "We kill power, we lose the archives, everything goes dark." Trump's voice thundered, "Do it." But before anyone could act, the LED screen flickered again. A new image replaced the document, a live video feed, time-stamped 20 minutes ago. It showed a high-level boardroom somewhere in Geneva. 3 men and 1 woman sat around a table lined with tablets. Their faces were clear. One of them spoke. "Phase 3 requires confirmation from Liberty Vault. Once we have executive reauthorization, funds will move by morning." The feed froze on the final frame, Trump's signature on the bottom corner of the displayed contract. Gasps rippled through the crew. Reed's heartbeat pounded in his ears, but his voice stayed even. "Mr. Trump, that's not from a document. That's a recording." Trump's face drained of color, then flushed crimson. "That's deepfake garbage. You people don't understand AI." Reed folded his hands. "Maybe. But it's your voice, your face, your name." Trump lunged forward, pointing straight at the camera. "This is war. You're all part of it, globalists, tech thieves, fake journalists." The control room director whispered, "We're still live in 186 countries. Do we cut?" Reed's earpiece buzzed with the producer's frantic voice. "Alex, we can end this. Say the code word, we'll drop the signal." He hesitated. His entire career hung between truth and survival. Across from him, Trump seethed, breathing heavy, sweat shining under the studio lights. "You want a confession?" he growled. "Fine. I built deals. I made money. But so did every leader you worship. Don't pretend I'm the only one." Reed whispered, "Then you admit it exists." Trump froze. Realized the trap too late. "You twisted my words." "No," Reed said quietly. "You revealed them." The alarm went silent. The entire world was now watching, unfiltered. Trump looked directly into the lens. "You think this ends me? This ends you. When the people see how you manipulate reality, they'll tear you apart." Reed stood. "Then let them decide for themselves." He turned to the camera, calm, almost tender. "Viewers, you've heard the man. This feed will not be censored. The evidence will remain public. You can judge who's lying." The director's voice trembled through his headset. "Alex, if you do that, we'll lose the network. They'll shut us down." Reed answered softly, "Then at least we go down telling the truth." Trump roared, "Shut him off," and lunged toward the control console. Security stepped forward, hands out, but Reed raised a single palm. "Let him. The world deserves to see how power reacts to truth." The former president froze, breathing hard. For a long moment, neither man spoke. Then Trump whispered, "You don't know what you've started." Reed looked straight into the camera lens. Maybe for the first time, neither do you. The lights dimmed as technicians battled the virus overtaking their servers. The screen behind them shimmered between code and static, symbols racing faster than human eyes could follow. Somewhere in that storm of pixels, a final line of text appeared before the broadcast abruptly cut to black. The World Pact is not over. For 30 full seconds, the world was dark. Television screens went blank, streaming platforms crashed, satellites dropped the signal. But silence, real silence, is never just empty. It's waiting. Inside the Royal Broadcast Hall, the emergency lights kicked in, flooding the set in dim amber. The audience murmured nervously. Technicians swore under their breath. Cables sparked. Trump stood in the half-light, his face tight with rage. "You just destroyed the biggest broadcast on Earth," he snapped. "You think they'll ever put you on air again?" Alexander Reed adjusted his tie, still unnervingly calm. "That depends who they are, Mr. Trump." Before Trump could reply, every monitor in the control room flickered, once, twice, and then the main feed came back online. The red light above the lens turned on by itself. The broadcast had restarted. "What the hell?" the director muttered. "We didn't reboot anything." Static filled the screens for a heartbeat, then the camera focus sharpened back on the two men. The world could see them again. Trump looked toward the camera, blinking hard. "We're still live?" Reed's earpiece buzzed with static, then a whisper, not from the control room. A distorted digital voice. "This transmission cannot be stopped." He froze. Trump caught the expression. "What did you hear?" Reed didn't answer. His pulse spiked. "Who's speaking?" The voice returned, louder now, broadcasting through the studio speakers themselves. "Truth has no switch. You tried to bury it, but it lives inside your own signal." Gasps echoed from the crew. The audience stepped back, whispering. Trump spun toward the ceiling, scanning for speakers. "Is this some AI trick? Who's behind this?" The lights flickered again. The LED screen behind them came alive, displaying a looping feed of encrypted text and numbers. Then, abruptly, the scrolling stopped, and a new image appeared. A live shot. From inside the building. Camera 6, one of the security feeds, was now streaming to the world. It showed a small, windowless room deep inside the studio. A single operator sat there, face hidden by the glow of multiple monitors, surrounded by open servers and cables. The person wore a headset and a global news ID badge. Reed's eyes widened. "That's inside our own transmission center." Trump's voice rose. "You mean your own people are doing this?" "This was never me." "It's you, Reed. You staged this whole thing." Reed shook his head. "No. This goes beyond us. Someone planned this long before tonight." The mysterious figure in the feed turned slowly toward the hidden camera. The world saw their face. It was Sarah Connors, Reed's executive producer. The woman who had been feeding him lines through his earpiece all night. Trump let out a low, mocking laugh. "Your own producer. Your partner. Guess the truth isn't on your side after all." Reed's voice faltered for the first time. "Sarah, what are you doing?" Through the speakers, her voice came calm and cold, distorted but clear. "Finishing what we started." The screen behind them split into two feeds now, one showing the studio, one showing Sarah typing commands. Phase 4 activated. Transmission relay global. Reed's earpiece crackled again. "Alex, they'll silence both of you. Keep him talking. We're almost done." Trump slammed his fist on the desk. "This is treason. You think you can blackmail me on air?" Reed turned, his voice trembling for the first time but still sharp. "Sarah, shut it down before they trace you." "Too late," she said softly. "They already have." Suddenly the security doors in the back of the hall burst open. Armed guards, corporate, not national, flooded the room. The crowd screamed. Crew members ducked. Reed looked toward Trump, realization dawning. "They're not here for me." Trump's expression hardened. "You think I didn't expect this?" The guards formed a perimeter around him. "Extract the principal," one barked into his comms. Reed's eyes darted to the main feed still broadcasting globally, the entire world watching chaos unfold live. "Mr. Trump," he said quietly, "you could stop this. Tell them to stand down." Trump adjusted his cufflinks, cold and defiant. "You wanted the truth? The truth is, control belongs to those who take it." The guards started escorting him out. The camera zoomed in on Reed, now standing alone in the flashing lights. His earpiece buzzed one last time. "Alex, it's out there now. The whole world has the files. You did it." He whispered back, "No, Sarah. You did." The line went dead. On the screen behind him, the final feed froze on Sarah's face as the security footage flickered and vanished. And just before the broadcast cut again, she spoke one last sentence, heard by every viewer on Earth. "The World Pact ends tonight." Then, static. The red light died. The broadcast was gone. The morning after the broadcast, the world felt tilted. Something in the rhythm of normal life had shifted, subtly but permanently. The sun rose over silent cities. Stock markets didn't open. Governments didn't release statements. But everyone, from presidents to taxi drivers, was asking the same question. What really happened on The World Speaks Tonight? The leaked feed had gone viral within hours. Clips replayed on every device. Trump's stunned expression, Sarah Connor's final line, "The World Pact ends tonight," looped endlessly. In Washington, the White House press secretary faced reporters for 7 straight hours. No, the former president had no involvement in any secret international pact. Yes, the footage was manipulated. No, the administration cannot confirm the authenticity of the leaked documents. In London, the Royal Broadcast Hall was locked down by private contractors. The network's servers were seized. Dozens of employees, including technicians, camera operators, and translators, were detained for questioning. And Alexander Reed was gone. No one had seen him since the blackout. Far from the chaos, inside a safe house buried deep in the Scottish Highlands, a single lamp flickered over a wooden desk. Alexander Reed sat alone, listening to the faint hum of a backup generator. He hadn't slept in 36 hours. On the screen before him, fragments of the intercepted feed replayed again and again, each time freezing on Sarah's face. Her last words echoed in his head. "The World Pact ends tonight." He rubbed his eyes, exhaustion bleeding into disbelief. "Sarah, what did you do?" he whispered. A coded message flashed on his burner phone. From unknown source. Subject: Project Unity, remaining files. Message: You didn't end it. You opened it. Reed's hands trembled. He clicked the attached file. Hundreds of encrypted folders filled the screen. Financial reports, diplomatic memos, secret contracts. Names of corporations, governments, generals. And at the top, a label. Phase V, Liberty Vault Transfer, pending authorization. The date was tomorrow. Reed stared at it, heart pounding. The plan wasn't dead. It was waiting. In a private underground conference room, 4 men and 2 women sat around a long glass table. No names, no cameras, just tension. Trump sat at the head. His usual bravado was gone, replaced with a quiet, cold fury. One man, pale and nervous, broke the silence. "Sir, the files are spreading faster than we can suppress. The leak reached over 50 networks. We're losing narrative control." Trump didn't blink. "Then rewrite the narrative." "But sir," he slammed a hand down. "Do it, or I'll find someone who will." Another aide leaned forward. "What about Reed? The journalist? We can't locate him." Trump's lips curved into a slow, dangerous smile. "Oh, we will." He turned toward the room's dark corner, where 2 men in unmarked suits stood silently. "Deploy the retrieval unit," Trump said. "Bring him back, alive." Reed's safe house lights flickered, power drain. He froze, listening. Then he heard it, the faint crunch of footsteps outside on gravel. He moved quickly, shutting down the laptop and sliding the hard drive into a hidden floorboard. A shadow passed across the frosted window. Reed grabbed the burner phone, whispered into the mic, "Sarah, if you're alive, I need you." No response. A knock at the door. 3 sharp, deliberate knocks. "Alexander Reed," a voice called through the wooden frame. This is the International Cybersecurity Task Force. Open the door. He didn't move. He knew that tone. Too polished. Too rehearsed. He whispered, "They found me." A second knock, harder. "Open up or we'll breach." Reed's mind raced. The only exit was through the back, the old fire escape that led down to the riverbed. He grabbed his satchel and bolted. As he slipped through the rear door, he heard the front one explode inward, the unmistakable sound of boots, guns, and authority. He ran into the night. News networks spun the story in every possible direction. Some called Reed a hero. Others, a traitor. One network aired a chilling headline. World Pact journalist missing, or silenced? Hashtags flooded social media. Hashtag World Pact truth. Hashtag Reed versus Trump. Hashtag the final broadcast. Governments scrambled to patch their alliances, corporations erased decades of data, and somewhere deep in the digital underworld, anonymous groups began leaking even more files. The world had entered a new kind of war, not for land but for truth. The final message. In a dark alley in Edinburgh, Reed pulled out his phone and recorded a short message, the last one he would ever send publicly. If you're hearing this, the broadcast was only the beginning. The World Pact isn't over. It's everywhere, in your power, your politics, your money. But remember this, truth doesn't vanish when the lights go out. It hides inside those brave enough to speak it. My name is Alexander Reed, and I'm not running anymore. He uploaded it to the network and disappeared into the mist. The world watched. And waited. Because somewhere, hidden among billions of screens, the next signal was already preparing to go live. The sky over New York was blood orange when the signal returned. It wasn't supposed to. Every government had tried to suppress it. Servers were unplugged. Satellites were rerouted. And yet, at 7:14 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the feed came back online. Billions of screens flickered to life. The familiar studio reappeared, empty this time, no audience, no lights. Just a single chair beneath a dim spotlight. Then a voice. Familiar. Alexander Reed. If you're watching this, I'm already gone. The world froze. But before they erased me, I left something behind. You've all seen the leaks, the documents, the footage, the denials. But none of that matters anymore. Because the World Pact wasn't about politics or power. It was about ownership. A low hum resonated beneath his words, the faint whir of data scrolling on the LED wall behind him. For decades, global leaders, across parties, across nations, built a secret framework. They didn't want control of people. They wanted control of truth. If you control truth, you control belief. And if you control belief, you control the world. The LED screen began to display faces, not just Trump, but CEOs, ministers, generals, even journalists. All connected by red lines. The World Pact wasn't a meeting. It was a network. And I was part of it too. A collective gasp rippled across the watching world. Reed's tone softened. That's why they trusted me to interview Trump. I wasn't just chosen, I was approved. Until Sarah Connors changed everything. Images of Sarah flashed on the wall, her working late, sending messages, the moment she hijacked the feed. She wasn't trying to expose me. She was trying to wake me up. She gave her life to pull truth out of the dark. Reed's voice cracked, just slightly. They'll call her a traitor. They'll call me a liar. But truth doesn't need permission. It just needs witnesses. He paused, looking straight into the lens, into every living room, every phone, every office across the planet. The files you saw weren't the end. They were the beginning. The real evidence, the full list, is hidden in plain sight. Inside your devices. Inside your systems. You've been living with it all along. The camera zoomed closer. His eyes glistened with a strange calm. So don't look for me. Look for yourself. The World Pact isn't a government. It's a reflection. And it ends the moment you stop believing their version of truth. The LED screen flickered again, showing one final sentence in stark white text. Phase 6, human consent. Then Reed's voice, softer than before. They can erase names. But not questions. A blinding flash. Static. The world after. Social media burned for weeks. Millions claimed to have found fragments of the hidden data Reed mentioned. Encrypted files, corporate documents, private communications. Governments discredited it. Churches called it prophecy. Hackers called it proof. And somewhere in the Scottish Highlands, locals whispered of a man seen at night near the cliffs, leaving flowers beside a small wooden cross carved with 2 initials, SC. Backhand index pointing right smash like if you believe truth should never be controlled. Loudspeaker comment #Truth Matters to stand with real journalism. Bell subscribe for the next chapter of the World Pact files. Collision and share this story, because somewhere, the next leak is already live.